I'm Kim Strobel, and I talk a lot about the science of happiness. In fact, it's probably my number one keynote. I think I took 23 flights in the month of August, and 95% of the time, I was speaking about the science of happiness because the research is so strong that when I can teach people how to bring their happiness to the forefront, when I can teach employees how to implement happiness habits, we see big results across the board. For example, we know that when we can teach your employees' brains to get to positive versus negative, neutral, or stressed, we start to see really big results in the workplace. For example, a positive brain is 31% more productive than a brain at negative, neutral, or stressed. Now, just think if you are a school principal and you had an app on your phone, and at any time during the school day, you could click on the app and it would give a readout of your employees' brains. How many times would those brains be at stressed or negative or neutral? Well, there's a reason for this. Our brains are wired towards negativity. It actually comes from caveman, cavewoman times where we had this part of our brain called the amygdala. And the amygdala's number one job is to scan for danger, to constantly be on the lookout for threats or negativity. The issue is in today's world, our amygdala is still a part of our brain and it still functions the same way. But we know that we can rewire the brain. So when I can get employees' brains to positive, when I can teach them a set of happiness habits that they can incorporate into their daily life, we see all kinds of changes start to happen. We see that they are 31% more productive. They are 3 times more creative. What does it mean to be 3 times more creative? Well, it means that all of a sudden, you can start to see solutions to problems that were there in your head the whole time, but you couldn't see them because your brain was at stressed. And when your brain is at stressed, certain parts of the brain get shut down. It also means that you can start to see opportunities that were on the radar the whole time, but because your brain was at stress, you couldn't see them. So not only are you 31% more productive, you are 3 times more creative, you are 10 times more engaged in your job. Can you imagine being 10 times more engaged in your job? This is what we know about the happiness research, but we've all been fed a totally backwards belief. We've all been taught by well-meaning parents and grandparents and caretakers and teachers in society that if you want to get to the good stuff in life, you have to work really hard. You have to put your head to the grindstone, go to school and get really good grades and out, compete with everybody else so that you can get into the really good college. Because once you get into the really good college, then you have to work even harder so that you can get the really good transcript, so you can get the really good internship, you can get the really good job, you can get the really nice house, you can make the really good money. And when you've done all these things and you've achieved all of these successes, now you have arrived at happiness. And the issue is we all follow that formula. That formula is deeply embedded in who we are. But the research actually says that this does not work, that it's time for rejuvenation. It's time to bring happiness at the forefront, that when we actually teach ourselves how to create our own happiness, how to have a set of happiness habits in our lives, then and only then do we move every single other area of your life. When your happiness comes to the forefront, you are a better employee. You are 31% more productive, 10 times more engaged in your job, 3 times more creative. And not only that, you're showing up as your best self when you come into school, and when you leave school, you have more left over for your family, And so we know that we can teach people how to create happiness habits. Not only do we get these outcomes in our schools, our businesses, and our organizations, but we also get them in every other area of your life. How are you showing up as a mother, a father, a husband, a wife, a partner? How are you showing up in your physical fitness? Are you letting it deteriorate because you don't have any time? When in fact, that's one of the building foundational blocks to being able to really thrive and flourish in your life. And so we really have to start to rewire our brain. And that's what I teach. I teach the science of happiness and how we can rewire our brain so that we can feel really good from the inside out. And when we feel good from the inside out, we start to change every single business, organizational, and educational outcome.